This one's scary as a sell. Jaylen Waddle. I mean, the guy has been an absolute revelation this year. Top 5 fantasy receiver in most scoring formats. This offense is absolutely cooking, but you think he could be a decent sell candidate at least. And again, similar to Chubb, like we're emphasizing sell high. We're not saying sell Jaylen Waddle for no reason just to sell him. But if you could get like what is kind of the fair price you'd consider for Jaylen Waddle, and what has him potentially on your sell radar right now?
So yeah, I'm not sure if you could actually get this done or not. It kind of seems unlikely to me, but I just wanted to mention that I was looking at the Fantasy Pros rest of the season rankings for full PPR last night among a few top experts, and they had Jaylen Waddle slightly above DeAndre Hopkins and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think it's pretty easy, in my opinion, to take Hopkins and Amon-Ra over Waddle right now. Waddle's averaging 14.3 expected fantasy points per game to 21.8 for Hopkins. And Amon-Ra's number is a little bit lower because he's been hurt so often. But if you take only games that he's been healthy and finish the game, then Amon-Ra's averaging 19.4 expected fantasy points per game, which are both significantly higher than Waddle. Waddle's right now the top receiver that would qualify in terms of difference in actual fantasy points over expected fantasy points with a 3.2 difference. And he's seeing 7.4 targets per game, which is a little bit lower than we'd like to see from a wide receiver one. So, like I said, Waddle is absolutely a really good player, but depending on how your league mates value him, then you might be able to get something better.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Similar to Chubb in that sense. Like, is he going to outperform his targets and his usage? Probably, when you got a play caller as good as McDaniels, a talent as good as him. But you also mix in the fact they have the second hardest wide receiver schedule here down the stretch, and it doesn't get much easier in the playoffs. The fourth hardest schedule in the playoffs for wide receivers. Of course, Tua is playing out of his mind. You got Tyreek Hill on the other side, so he'll always be able to draw some of the harder, the softer matchups rather. But yeah, when that volume is not quite there, there's definitely going to be a few lower floor days. Like we saw this last week, 9 fantasy points, 4 catches, 66 yards, wide receiver 38 finish. We've seen a few of those, throughout the year. Wide receiver 38, wide receiver 27, wide receiver 77. There's definitely been a few of those. Wide receiver 59, where we've seen like Tyreek Hill, he's going to get his 10 to 15 targets. Waddle does have a bit more of the up and down variance to his game, even though we have wide receiver 4, wide receiver 3, wide receiver 6 mixed in there as well. A little bit more boom bust than you kind of want for your true wide receiver one, as you mentioned, like a St. Brown or a Hopkins, if you can kind of, even if it's Waddle plus something, to get to those guys that are seeing 10 to 15 targets every single week, that you can really bank on the steady with a mix in that tough schedule. I actually like this call to sell Waddle, as good as he is. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.